Fantasy Podcast. This is episode 2. My name is Brandon, and I'm here joined with Eric and Dave. Eric?
May the force be with you.
Dave?
And also with you.
So clearly we're referencing the Star Wars universe, one of our favorite worlds and kind of what brought us all together and kind of talk about this stuff. So yeah, we couldn't wait. Episode 2, getting into Star Wars. So without further ado, let's start the episode.
Whenever you're playing a Star Wars game, you get to put in either the name of your save game or KOTOR, you put in the name of your guy or whatever. I assume that we all have defaults. What's your default Star Wars game name?
So I actually made up a Star Wars character a long time ago. I don't know. Probably when I was in my this is my Star Wars persona, quote unquote.
Nerd alert.
When I was in my teens. But his name is Turlox Kentor, and that's my go-to for Star Wars name. That's my Jedi persona.
That's a good one. I kind of feel like mine's really cheesy now. I'm Obi Dave.
Obi Dave, all right, I like that.
Every time. Obi Dave.
Yeah. Mine
kind of rolls off the tongue.
Wilson. It's not good.
Okay, that's
fine. I really gotta come back with something.
See, it's the other side of the coin, yeah.
I went dark, though.
Brandon, you guys might actually there's a Star Wars role-playing game that's kind of fantastic. If you've never played a pen and paper game.
I have not.
We played one for 4 years of my life. It's a lot of us. All right.
Well, if I'm not watching a movie or playing a video game and I really, really want to do something like that, I will let you know. But I don't know when
I don't know if I have the capabilities to do something like that.
All right, well, let's get on with the show. So this is episode 2, and we have a theme today. Eric, do you want to drop the theme of today's episode?
Sure. The theme is Star Wars. Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
One of our favorite topics.
It's the low-hanging fantasy fruit, It's easy to grab, tastes delicious, and everybody loves it.
Eric kind of framed up this episode where you had a good question. How do we, how are you introduced to Star Wars? How did you get into it? If you want to actually take it away, go for it.
Sure, yeah. I just wanted to start with each of us explaining how we got into Star Wars, how we were introduced to it, and what makes it, special to each of us. I don't know who wants to start. Brandon, if you want to start.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I'm one of 5. I'm the youngest. The next one in line is 7 years older than me. So I was born in 81.
Accident.
I was just total accident, dude. And absolutely, honestly though, with my parents, I think all but the first 2 were everybody else was an accident. But so I grew up with Star Wars toys because that's what my brothers had, right? They just had them left laying around and they weren't playing with them, so I just had them. And I had laser discs. We had these big, awesome
laser discs.
Laser discs. My brother has them still to this day. Laser discs. They're like the vinyl of movies. Giant artwork, album art, all that stuff. But Star Wars was always on. We just always had it on, and I just grew up with it. It wasn't this wow moment. I just always had it around me, so it was just a part of my life. So that was really how I was exposed to it. I didn't really fall in love with it till probably the mid to late 90s. I think maybe around when I always enjoyed it, but I think episode 1, the hype, really kind of got me kind of go back and revisiting it in a new set of eyes. But yeah, that was mostly my experience.
I'm kind of falling to the same early 80s kid, one of 6, and kind of Star Wars is just always there. So I don't know, kind of always remember growing up playing the games, having the movies on. I was a VHS kid. I wasn't a fancy Laserdisc boy, but
what games were you playing growing up?
Well,
Star
I mean,
Wars.
you had Super Nintendo, you had
Super Star Wars.
Return of the Jedi, Super Star Wars, all those. The ones for NES are kind of brutal, but then, I mean, you get into the 90s, you get into X-Wing on the PC, you get into Jedi Outcast, all those growing up. So
Yep.
it kept going on, not just the movies, but all sorts. So I think you and me are technically, we saw 4, 5, and 6 first, and I don't know, Eric, I guess you can jump in
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, it's funny. So I was born in 1994. None of my immediate family was really into Star Wars, but it was my cousins that actually got me into Star Wars. I spent a lot of time with them as a kid, and they were big into Star Wars and all that stuff. So in 1999 is when Episode 1 came out, Phantom Menace, and I think that was my entry point into Star Wars. It was when Episode 1 came out. So that's the first movie that I ever remember seeing. And I know after I saw it, I was 5 years old when that came out.
So George Lucas made Jar Jar just for you. How did you feel about that back then?
I don't remember hating Jar Jar, but I also don't remember liking him that much. I was just big into the lightsaber fights. Obviously every kid is just first time they see a lightsaber is like, yep, done. This is the best thing I've ever seen. So yeah, definitely Episode 1 was my entry point, and then I don't remember seeing the original trilogy until kind of a little bit later. Like I started really, really getting into Star Wars when Episode 3 came out, which was 2005. So I remember seeing, in between.
You were 10?
Yep, I was 10. I was 10 years old because it came out in May 2005. Yep, when I saw Episode 3, it was that was a really special memory for me because I was dying to see it. I was begging, and when my mom finally took me, we went and saw it together, and I seriously, my 10-year-old brain was just blown away by everything in that movie. And, I mean, that's definitely why Episode 3 is my favorite movie, just because I have that strong sentimental memory attached to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude, it's cool. I think that's super cool. You get to have a different perspective. So we're gonna basically this whole episode is just dedicated to Star Wars, and the big chunk of it is really just talking about why we love Star Wars. So we know how we got into it, but you asked the two of us what are those favorite moments, and then how would you rate those movies and stuff like that. I don't know, Dave, why don't you start us off? What are some of the moments that you had, your favorite moments in Star Wars that it's just God damn it, this is why I like this franchise?
Well, there's a couple, I guess. Growing up with the first 3, I guess, 4, 5, 6, which is how I introduced it to my kids. Those ones have they kind of set a lot of the templates for the next movies. So there's always the big bad guy at the end. There's always some sort of big ass space battle and a couple things going on at different times. So those ones kind of set things up. But I mean, with starting, I guess, I don't know, from 4, 5, 6, I mean, that the first Death Star run has got to be up there.
Yes.
Empire Strikes Back. I mean, that's a pretty pivotal movie where it looks so good, and the good guys lose at the end, which is kind of that's not normal in movies. Usually, it's they're not thinking about the whole trilogy of things or the bigger picture. Movie 7, 8, 9. But those two initially, and then the Endor battle in Return is pretty. I mean, it's pretty amazing where you got everything going down on the planet, and you got Palpatine up in space, kind of rubbing shit in Luke's face. It's kind of awesome, kind of from every aspect on there. But those 3 really stand out, I guess. When you get into 1, 2, 3, I don't want to steal all the good ones, but I mean 1, 2, and 3. I mean, they are no slouches by themselves because I mean the first one you have the Duel of the Fates, which is
oh my God.
you know one of the cooler lightsaber battles ever, I guess.
That song is just, oh my God,
It's burned,
one of the best.
burned into your
for
brain.
Sure.
John Williams' greatest song outside of the probably like the Star Wars theme song, "Duel of the Fates" is like right up there. But yeah, yes,
You
that's
see
a great
Darth Maul
scene.
light that fucking second lightsaber, you're like, oh shit, this is about to go down, and you know
It's so
that's
good. It's
and
so
George
good.
Lucas did some shit with 1, 2, and 3 that you know he kind of moved a lot of CGI forward in those movies, but like lore wise, I mean he's got some kind of wackadoodle ideas with his midichlorians and all that kind of stuff. But
I don't mind. Yeah, Star Wars lore's fine with me. But yeah, yep.
Two
that's
is
episode
a
one.
bit
Come
mad,
on,
but
Dave. What about episode
that-
2? What about episode 2?
I mean,
No favorites?
yeah, episode 2 is kind of a pile of donkey do.
Yeah,
but it's
two-
I mean it's all
Anakin-
right. But
Anakin's
the arena
revenge
fight.
scene is kind of cool. The arena fight.
The arena
yeah.
fight, I think, would be my highlight
That's
for that
cool.
one because
But episode 2 is just a kind of a blah of a movie. I did really like. I mean, Obi-Wan is my favorite character in Star Wars, so the fight between him and Jango Fett was pretty badass. It was kind of lame that Jango Fett. I mean, he was a cool looking character, which is kind of funny because it mirrors how Boba Fett was in the original trilogy. He was a cool looking character, but he never really did or said a whole lot. Like he had like 7 minutes of total screen time throughout, those 2 movies. So
they kind of did him dirty the way Mace kind of.
yeah, Jango
Kinda-
Fett gets so shortchanged. Like he just fucking decapitates him, and then yep, he's done. And that's how you get that like on Boba's face. He's like, "Oh, you killed my dad," and all this stuff. So I don't know. I feel like they tried too hard to make that like a Boba Fett origin story. Like, oh, my dad was killed, and now I'm gonna, become a bounty hunter like him.
That's but well, I guess at this point maybe we'll just kind of go back and forth because I'm sure Dave can talk more. He's got some scenes probably he liked in like 7, 8, 9. But Eric, why don't you just roll with it and then we'll just kind of go all over the place. But yeah, let's hear some of yours.
I mean, we're just leading into it, and like I said before, Episode 3 is my favorite Star Wars movie. I'll say that right now. I mean, the Obi-Wan versus Anakin fight, like, I don't know. In my mind, you can't top that.
It's the best fight in all of Star
It's
Wars.
just
But it's funny because like it's a fight that you knew that was going to happen,
Yes, this
and
is
you
why-
knew who's going to win. But
Yep.
what is it about it that you still like?
That's why I love this movie. Like, just like, I mean, obviously I love Obi-Wan, like I said before, my favorite character. But just the build-up throughout that whole movie, you can see the relationship between how at the beginning the relationship between Obi-Wan and Anakin is so strong, and then as the movie continues, you can see like Anakin kind of drifting away, going obviously going more towards the dark side. And there's just this building tension throughout the entire length of the movie, and then it just all culminates in this huge, crazy battle on this lava planet where they're just going at it. It's, I don't know. In my
Why
mind,
were
that's
they
one
on
of the best
Mustafar?
moments.
Why was it there?
That is a good question.
Anakin went there to kill the Trade
Yeah,
Republic.
that's right.
Commanders.
Yep.
That's where they were hiding out.
So he murdered.
Apparently, that planet's pretty bad in the dark side too. So that's, I guess, Palpatine's whole spiel to send him there
So
to kind
canon
of
says
squeeze it out.
yes, and Palpatine obviously was the puppet master for everything, and he created Anakin, and canon says that he impregnated Shmi, right? And then she has Anakin. He must be risking it though, because like it's a slave on a crappy ass planet in the Outer Rim. What are the chances of this child surviving? But he does. When Anakin and the Emperor first meet in Episode 1, there's kind of like a nod that something's going to happen. But then 2 and 3, he straight up seduces him. does he seduce Anakin because he knows that it's his son, or does he seduce him because he knows that he's stupid powerful and he can take that imbalance and get him, like kind of like he did, like he used Dooku to create like the split and the Federation and stuff like that.
Doesn't it Palpatine say at one point that he can't he see the future essentially? Like he foresaw all this happening.
When did he say that?
I thought he said that. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like this was, like you said, this was his whole master plan. So he knew that Anakin was like, quote unquote, the chosen one, but for his apprentice, not, to bring balance to the Force.
He's kind of playing it from a couple different angles too.
Right.
Where, first he's got Maul, and then he's got Dooku, and then he's got Anakin. He's just kind of, he's like trading up, like when you do that little flea market trick where you trade a sack of beans into a car. He just keeps trading up Sith apprentice.
True, he is doing that, but hold on a second, though. Eric, you got me thinking, because we know the prophecy. They straight up say the prophecy, they just dropped that in episode 1. There's a chosen one, and we all know it's supposed to be Anakin, right? And people argue that it is Anakin. But are you suggesting that the Emperor is also believes in the same prophecy, but for the dark side? Or do the Sith have their own prophecy, and he created his own? Because Sidious is like beyond. He's very different. I don't know all the Sith lords, but his whole thing was that he was just like really good at being crafty. He learned from Tyrannus or whatever how to create life. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
Is that
Darth Tyrannus? Yep. And so I mean that's always what it looked like from my perspective, is that everything Palpatine was doing was leading up to Anakin throughout, the entire I guess the prequel trilogy.
When I think about it, it seems super sloppy. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard being a fan of Star Wars, and I do not want to get into the theatrics and drama and the toxicity around Star Wars. This is all about praise, but it is hard to keep.
Well,
up.
I was just gonna say, according to Episode 9, Palpatine is just a god. Like he can do anything.
Right. Episode 4, they have an idea, and they pull it off with 5 and 6, and then here we are, like 9 movies, 10, 11 movies, and Ewok movies. I mean, in Christmas specials and TV shows and video games and comic books and books and all this canon that's been written. It's just like you know that episode 4, he had no idea where it was going. You made a comment where like 7, 9, or was it Dave? 7, 8, 9, clearly, which I agree. They had no idea what they were doing. You can't tell me that 9 is what they were thinking when they wrote 7. But
no, absolutely
4, 5, and 6, we see mistakes all the time. And friggin' Leia straight up says, "I remember my mother." I forget. I remember my mother. She talks about her mom. Wasn't it in episode?
It's in Return of the Jedi at the end.
It's 6. Yeah, I remember her. I'm like, no, you don't.
Well, now you can say that. Yeah. Now that you know that she died of a broken heart, or she got sad and died, whatever you want to say.
That's what happens when you try to continue the series 25 years later or whatever the gap was.
But I'm just saying that in the original trilogy, people think that there's sloppiness too. That's the thing about Star Wars. It's for fun. Don't overthink it, because Luke and Leia straight up made out in like, what was that, 5, right? She like plants a kiss to get Han Solo jealous.
I don't know if that constitutes making out, but we'll leave it at that.
All right, I want to just hop in on that Darth Maul scene real quick. So to me, because I'm the designer in this room here, and I'm a brand guy, and Star Wars to me is an amazing brand, because not because like Star Wars is one movie or several movies. Star Wars is fantastic to me because I can hear it I can hear the songs, I can hear the aliens, I can hear the quotes, I can hear every sound. I can just hear it, you know, and I love that there's so many unique sounds that are just so Star Wars.
You can smell Darth Maul's Axe body spray.
Well, maybe the scent isn't there, but like
I know, I'm fucking with you.
But like when you go to the movie theater and you sit down, it's pitch black, it's dark, it's silent, and then the blue text comes up and it says a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. That is how you start a Star Wars movie. And then all of a sudden, boom, logo, text crawl, and you feel the bass because you're in the theater and it's just dun 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 dun, you know. So it's just like, it's awesome. I love that Star Wars has this connection between like the viewer and what is producing. I think it's just well done. I think Star Wars is genius because they went the orchestral route. The first Star Trek movie, it's like stupid synths from like the late 70s, 80s kind of thing. It's just weak. But Star Wars is like, no. We're going to have cellos and violins and harps and trumpets and what, you know, going to have everything, right? So then when we get to Darth Maul's basically showing off his dual lightsaber, we've only seen one, right? We've only seen one. And when he first fought Qui-Gon Jinn earlier in the movie, he just uses one lightsaber, and that's it. He looks cool. He's got the black robe on, and he's fighting Qui-Gon, and it comes out of nowhere. But then we meet him again, and the song kicks in. It's got like a chorus, which our choir, like we'd never have had that before. This is different. And then he just, and the other one turns on. It's like, yes, because there's two Jedis, and he's cool as fuck looking. So I don't know, everything about that scene was just so awesome. That's what I want out of Star Wars. Like that movie, I was just like, yeah, one is like whatever, hit or miss, but it's got an amazing scene. I had to say that just because you guys are talking about visual and storytelling, and I wanted to get the sound part out of it, where like it's just because right up to that moment, it's, you know, it's like whatever, and it's like da 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 da, you know, it's just different. It's just new.
I'll bring this up as it's kind of a favorite moment, but it's more, I guess it's more personal to me. The first time that I saw The Force Awakens is one of my top Star Wars moments. So let me explain.
I love that movie, so go for it, dude.
I mean, The Force Awakens is one of my favorite Star Wars movies. It's really high up there. Dave a little cooler on the
4.
Sequel trilogy. Is it?
If you like 4, you like 7.
It is inspired by 4, definitely.
Sure.
They do
Steals
a lot
all
of
the same story beats.
I mean, if it's basically what any like continuation of a long running series is, like a reboot, if you will. So I mean, you could think about the Creed movies with the Rocky series. It's basically retreading, you know, the first Creed movie is retreading kind of the same ground. It does
a new audience.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
totally get it.
It takes what worked from the first movie and expands upon it in a really smart way, in my opinion. But
how did you know that you were liking 7 though? Like I remember watching 1 and like not sure if I liked it. 2, I instantly knew I didn't like this movie. 3, I was like whatever, but
so I think
7, I knew I liked it.
I think it was just the aspect of like, I mean, after Episode 3, we didn't know if we would get any more Star Wars movies ever. You know, I mean, obviously it's a huge money making machine, but like I think the announcement that okay, there's going to be 3 more movies in the series,
but Disney isn't making them.
This whole trilogy,
is a big deal.
Yeah, Disney, acquired Lucas film, so yeah, it's a huge deal. So I mean, obviously the hype around 7 was huge, and I don't know,
that trailer, dude. I watched it like 1,000 times.
The trailer, yeah, just everything about it leading up to it, I was just digging it.
Chewie,
and
we're
like,
home.
Dude, the moment. The moment I stepped into, like you were saying, when the blue text comes on the screen, the music kicks in, like, I was just, like, tearing up. I'm not even joking. And, like, I think there was a smile on my face through that entire movie. Like, and I don't know, just
What's your favorite scene in 7? Do you have one?
in The Force Awakens. That's a good question. Let me think. I mean, I really like the. I think it's funny that they gave Finn a lightsaber, in that movie. Like, he just happened to get it, and seeing him like use it and kind of like fumble with it was really funny because we've never really seen that before. A non-Jedi wielding a lightsaber, which is so weird because this is another thing that was interesting about 7 is that they kind of shook up a lot of things they did in previous Star Wars movies. I feel like it was always implied that you had to be a Force user to use a lightsaber, which, I mean, people say...
That's a good point.
People say that there's theories that Finn is Force sensitive a little bit and all that stuff, but really I think he was just a soldier using a weapon that he didn't know how to use, and it was just interesting seeing that. Rey, obviously the Rey and Kylo Ren fight was great towards the end.
It was beautiful.
I don't know. I think there are a lot of great moments. BB-8, best new Star Wars droid.
Yes, I think. I just want to say something about like Kylo Ren. I thought Kylo Ren. I loved Vader. They didn't have a villain with a voice in 1, 2, and 3. That was my problem with 1, 2, and 3. Which, how could you really? Because Anakin, I don't know, he wasn't the villain, but like he becomes Vader and he has this really cool voice. So who's going to substitute that? They killed off Maul. Palpatine was still human form. General Grievous was whatever, but when 7, I remember because I don't know, I'm so sensitive to the sound of Star Wars that I'm always listening for it. And when Kylo Ren talks in that movie, I fucking love it because he's like very subtle. The way he's like, it's softly spoken, but it's the only sound. It dominates the movie, mm-hmm. And it's that voice. It's all that artificial voice that he's putting over his voice, but behind the mask. And I just thought that was like so cool, and I loved every scene with Kylo Ren. I was like, this is a great villain. This is really cool. I loved Kylo Ren. I loved everything about him. I mean, I was in love.
Yeah, I like Kylo Ren a lot. And I'm not gonna lie, I definitely did tear up when Han Solo got killed by Kylo Ren, his own son.
I didn't tear up, but I got a little emotional in 8 about it. It was weird. 7, I was just like,
I think it was like,
he was like not gonna do all 3 movies, so I just knew he was gonna be somehow leaving the movie or get killed off.
I think it was more for me like Chewie's reaction when Solo got stabbed. Chewie was so upset and he just goes into a rampage.
How do you feel about the blooper? Well, not a blooper, but the fucking misstep that they had where Leia runs to console Rey when she comes back, and Chewie is left alone, knowing that Chewie's been with Han for fucking a long time.
Yeah,
poor Chewie.
That's the only that J.J. Abrams was like, you have any regrets on 7? Like, if you could redo something, and he said that would be the scene. So the fan base let me have it, and I absolutely see it. I was like, how did I not show Leia running to Chewie? Mm-hmm. That would have been a beautiful scene. But they were so caught up in establishing Rey. The story was about her. So Leia just goes to her and, fuck, dude. That would have been a beautiful scene.
Yeah,
if they would have just had her run to Leia, and the two of them are just, having a moment. That would have been good, but... I like the 8 that they... Can I talk about 8? Am I allowed to talk about 8 yet?
Yes, I love 8. Okay. I know Dave is not as hot on it as we are. I know that. Yeah,
so I'll just say this really quick. I remember struggling, falling in love with 1, 2, and 3. Really don't like 2. 1 and 3 I've grown to enjoy, actually. 2, I don't hate it now, but I just don't like it. But... 7 comes out, and I'm like, wow, that was awesome. That was cool. Yes, it was 4 all over again, but that's like, all right, Disney. I trust you. I like these characters. I like where we're going. I'm okay with it. I love Snoke. I love Kylo Ren. I like Rey. I like Finn. I like Poe. There's no complaints. 8 comes out. I fucking love the fuck out of that movie. I come out of that movie thinking everybody's going to think this is the greatest Star Wars movie of all time. And I realize I'm either in the minority or there's just a lot of angry Star Wars fans out there that just didn't like the movie. But I was just like, whoa, this isn't like really like nobody's liking this movie. The critics were liking it. I was liking it, but like the loud fan base did not like it a lot. And I don't want to get into that. I want to praise 8. I love the intro, battle scene, the music. I think Rian Johnson killed it. Whoever he worked with for that scene, I cared more about that Rose's sister and her sacrifice. I cared more about her than I did, like I was telling Dave earlier before recording, when they ordered Order 66 in Episode 3. I didn't know any of those Jedi. I knew Jedi were wiped out, and I knew Anakin would turn evil. That we knew. But that was it. So we see Order 66 go down, and it's just like, okay, yeah, of course, they're all killed off. But who were they? I didn't have episode 1 or 2 to grow into these characters to think, yes, it's sad to see that character die because we spent this much time with them. No, just random background Jedis in the council just like getting picked off. Could care less. But then 8 introduces like her and like the other like the cat, like they had scenes, and the way they shot it, her sacrifice, I cared about her death. Not
were you talking about
movie.
Holdo?
No, in the beginning, Rose's sister.
Rose's sister. That's
two,
right.
The two Asian, her. So I was like, that's a really good sacrifice. Like, finally, like somebody gets the sacrifice part of Star Wars, because I don't care unless it's like a main character. These other people, I just don't know. And I thought he did a great job with that, right? But then, like, I loved when Luke is going to confront Kylo at the end, and he goes to Leia, and the music is playing. It's fucking goddamn John Williams. Every movie, no matter what acting and director, whoever is doing it, he always delivers. And the music is just so good in 8. And I don't know, listen to it. Watch that scene again when Luke goes and he's talking to Leia, and he says, "Nobody's ever gone," kisses her on the forehead. Mark Hamill made that scene up. He just kissed her on the forehead. He just did that. He thought that would have been a good thing because he knew this is the last time he's going to see his sister, because he's going to die. He's giving everything he's got to distract Kylo so that Rey can take the rest of them and get the fuck out of there with Poe, right? And he was saying bye to his sister. It's a fucking gorgeous scene. It's shot beautifully. And just knowing that she died, it's more sad. Mm-hmm. This is the last scene that they did together, and Carrie Fisher never got to see the movie. Mm-hmm. Which, whatever, I don't know. Everybody got hung up on her Mary Poppins scene, but I thought she struggled in 7, but I thought Carrie Fisher really owned it in 8. Dude, there's this one scene on Crate, the red planet, right before the final battle, when she's got like the cloak, like just her eyes are exposed, and she's like looking at the battle that's about to happen. Dude, that's a stunning scene. I thought it was just beautifully shot. It's just a shame because there's so much like anger around that movie that I think people are blinded about some of the gorgeous. Obviously, like the scene when Holdo like sacrifices herself and just uses that scene. Dude, whatever, even if you don't like her, that was
a really good one.
That is a cinematic masterpiece. Like that scene. Oh my god, dude!
It looks nice. So let's not call it a cinematic masterpiece.
When I saw that in the theater, when she used the light speed to go through that dreadnought, dude, that was one of the. I'm not even lying. One of the best things I've ever seen in a movie.
It is cool, but we're talking nice about Star Wars, about things we like, and I've been quiet for a little bit.
Here, I will say
we're talking about the new series, but
let me get a dig in here for 8. the first time I saw it, I didn't really like it that much. So when I saw it in theaters for the first time, I was like, I left the theater saying like, yeah, that was good, but nah, I don't know. I like 7 a lot better. But on
7's more fun.
Definitely more fun,
adventure.
more action. Yep, all that. So, but on
Mystery.
on subsequent watches of 8, I began to like appreciate it more and more. Just basically
It's
with
risky, dude.
Yeah, it's risky.
It does things like
it does things.
Kylo's the fucking man at the end of that thing. He is Vader. Always had the Emperor, you know, or Vader always had like Admiral Death Star. What's his face, Dave? You know, he
Tarkin?
dies in the
You
Death
talking
Star
about
in
Tarkin?
Episode 4. Tarkin, thank
Tarkin,
you.
yeah.
He always had somebody else with him, but like Kylo straight up kills his boss. He's like, I'm going to lead the First Order. I'm in charge, and I'm the one with the lightsaber, and I'm young and powerful. Let's fucking do this. But yeah, go ahead. I thought 8 just different.
Yeah, I mean the whole casino planet crap can whatever.
Why don't people like that? Hold on. So what hold on. What? That's the part like I don't get. Like
It just felt unnecessary and like kind
There's
of
nothing happened. Nothing. It has nothing to do with anything else, really.
yes, it does. Yes, it does. It shows that Rose and Finn are naive and young, and they're trying to help Leia, a fucking general. They're trying to do a general. See, that's the all right. Here's the secret message. I think a lot of people miss.
I
Not
understand.
secret.
I understand the point of the scene. I just think it wasn't done well.
But what, dude, they tried to pull a fast one. Poe, Finn, and Rose thought they could do something that Leia and Holdo couldn't figure out. If they would have just listened, they would have been fine. But they didn't. They performed mutiny, and they tried to do this thing, and then they're even told who to get. They get the wrong guy. They make mistake after mistake after mistake. The whole point is to build Finn's character because he hates the Empire or First Order. He leaves it. He's running away. He's scared. He has no reason to live. He just doesn't want to be part of that, and he's running away. 8 is all about giving him a purpose. He still, in the beginning, wants to leave, and Rose arrests him. And then he's like, he's like, you know what? All I really have is my friend Rey. He's like, she's all that matters to me. And then he goes with her because he's stupid. He's blind. He's trying desperately to do something for the Republic, or for the Resistance. And it's because like these decisions that he's making, they're stupid. It's like falling in love with somebody and making all the wrong decisions. You're kind of fumbling your way through it, but he's learning how evil the world is. That guy with the stutter is trying to show him good, bad. There's like a black market. Like you got to be careful. It's a learning lesson because he's been living in the First Order since childhood, right? So he's got a lot of learning to do. So I thought it was fine because later on, what is he doing? He's the only one willing to say, you know what, I'll just fucking die. I will crash my speeder thing into this thing and you guys will be able to get away because I'm going to stop this thing from blowing up the door.
That was another problem I had with that movie. Sorry to interrupt, but Finn should have died there. Finn should have died there.
He should have died there.
I agree.
That would have made his
little shit bikes.
That would have made his character arc way more meaningful if he died there.
That's the thing I think about with 7, 8, and 9. Like,
we don't have to talk about 9, guys. It's okay.
No,
9.
stinks,
We can all agree that no. But yeah, let's let Dave talk.
From a character standpoint, there's just so much missed opportunity in 7, 8, and 9 that like. There was so many what ifs, like you should have done this different, you should have done that different. Yeah, they look pretty, they have all the same cool sounds, yeah, but you can tell me like, I mean, obviously they changed directors a couple times, and that probably fucked up a lot of the stories, but...
They did 4 and 5 and 6. 5 was directed by a different guy.
But those were one continuous stories, where you look at 7, 8, 9, and that's just like, whatever the next guy wants, we'll fucking do. So you look at like characters like Captain Phasma, which great, you got a girl stormtrooper, but like she's just like she's like a red shirt basically, where she's exactly like Boba she's just Fett. There to have somebody to beat. Yeah, so that's kind of trash.
Captain
like you can't tell me that
her concept art and says I want that character in here because she just looks cool, and like she does look cool. Like nobody's arguing with that.
Game of Thrones is just ending, and Brienne of Tarth is hot shit. So let's fucking stick her in a movie. But I mean, and it could have been so much cooler there. But I mean, Finn, Rose, Poe. I don't think any of their story arcs are, I don't know, are as good as 1, 2, 3, or 4, 5, 6. Rey kind of does her thing with Kylo, which is, I mean, by the time you get to 9 and they're force healing and making up force powers and
they had to make them kiss at the end. Are you fucking kidding me? Why did they do that?
Well, it's just 7, 8, 9. No, 7, 8, 9. They're just sloppy. I don't know. They're not thought through.
I think you're
Disney sees the money machine.
No, come on, dude. You're going to tell me they're not sloppy with 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6 either? That's Star Wars. Star Wars is fucking sloppy as shit, dude. Get out of here. Look at. Come on, dude. Like, all right. You're gonna tell me they knew what they were doing when they made 4 all the way to 6? Hell no. No
not
way.
all the way, but he had to have had something in mind. I mean, why did he start with 4 too? Like that's the other thing. Like, you know, he knew kind of what the story was, but he didn't know how all the pieces were going to fit together, more or less. Because you have mentions of 4, 5, and 6 of, you know, like, where are all the fucking Jedi? Where's my dad? Who's my dad? All that kind of stuff. And, you know, they do the Luke story for 4, 5, 6. Then they add on 1, 2, 3, and it becomes like the Darth Vader. 1 through 6 is like the Darth Vader story. 7 through 9 is like the Rey story, and then 1 through 9 is like the Skywalker.
But how are you going to tell me that, like, they weren't clinking with Luke Skywalker? Like, episode 4, he's a whiny teenager. Episode 5, he's, like, super eager, and he's, like, whatever, like, impatient. 5, he just comes out with, like, this, like, French poet, late 60s, black turtleneck,
Episode
like, outfit.
6, he's a
like,
badass Jedi master, man.
I think, I'm gonna say
with a
something
green
controversial.
lightsaber.
I think Mark Hamill's acting is not good in 4, 5, and 6, and maybe I just never really liked it. I think his acting is really good in 8.
It's all right. It's a 7, 8, 9. He goes back to being a whiny little Luke Skywalker, basically. He's like, wah, all my Padawans got killed. I don't want to help anybody. I'm going to go to this planet.
And what do you want him to do?
I want him to fucking buck up. I want him to put on his pants one leg at a time and get out there and fucking start using the Force and killing, like, make your shit right. You don't just go hide on a planet. It was kind of.
What did Yoda do?
Yeah, he did the same thing. Went into exile. Yep.
Yeah, because he was being hunted.
I think it's more of the shame. I think it's more of the shame.
It could be.
I mean, Yoda went into exile because he lost his fight to Palpatine, and he was ashamed.
I mean, partly he probably knew that he was not,
and it was the same with Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan failed his Padawan, and he was ashamed because he let him turn to the dark side, and so he ran away.
Yeah, he had to hide. He had to hide because their Order 66 was a known thing, and they were wiping out the Jedi for treason, right? Mm-hmm. They were performing treason on the
So Luke's giving the Jedi a hard reboot. He gets his whole thing started up. Yeah, whatever. Kylo he felt some dark side. He got tainted by the dark side. And at the very first sign of the dark side, what does Luke do? He packs up his shit and he goes and hides on a planet. Like, come on. You gotta be a little tougher than that. Like, there's no other reason. All he knows is that there's
PTSD. He's traumatized. He trained his own nephew, and his own nephew was seduced under him.
Turned on him, yeah, right.
And he knew he was going to be. He knew he was like, God damn it, Ben Skywalker. I'm sorry, Ben Solo is a Skywalker. He's destined to be really powerful, and he blew it, and he killed all the other kids that he was training. He was training kids. He trained kids. All of those kids were wiped out.
Yep. Did Kylo really kill all those kids, though?
Yes. Who
was
else
it?
did?
All his
the Knights of Ren. The Knights of Ren, yeah.
But Snoke seduced. Palpatine was Snoke. Snoke seduced Kylo. Kylo seduced the others. It was under his watch.
Yeah.
Dude, it's like you have like a bunch of kids, and then like one hung himself, and he convinced like the other half to hang themselves. You know, and the others forced the others to hang themselves. So like everybody's just like did this evil acting. Like, God damn it, you'd be traumatized. You failed. Like, I'm not worthy of this thing.
Yeah,
He was leaning towards there, but Luke is the one that kind of lit the match. That like he lit the match with the whole lightsaber over Ben Solo when he was still training him.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was going to murder a kid in his sleep. So that's probably why he went. Yeah, he went into hiding is because obviously he knows that he fucked up. Yes, but that's no reason to go.
Development. I don't know. I think he's also been like alone on an island. He's just like a crazy old man at that point. I don't know. The only thing I'll complain about is like the way he like threw the lightsabers. Kind of like, oh, what a disrespectful thing to do.
That was just. I think that was just for the laughs. That was just for the laughs.
To break the icebreaker.
Yeah.
Because
exactly.
you know that whatever the first thing out of his mouth there was going to be scrutinized for decades.
I just remembered I have a scene. A little
Is
bit
it
more
the blue
fun.
milk scene?
So,
Is it the blue milk scene when Luke drinks the milk straight
it's
from the
episode
titty?
4. Episode 4, stupid scene. Yeah. Episode 4 has one of my favorite scenes. It's when Han Solo and Luke just are like taking Chewie, like he's a prisoner on the Death Star, and they're like under like disguise, right? They're in disguise, and they go there, and I forget what the thing is, but we're taking like this inmate to this cell, and like I don't remember hearing about this. Like, what's your authorization code or something? And he's like, and then they're like, just go crazy, and they start shooting the other, like Chewie's like going loose, and they start shooting all the stormtroopers. I thought it was a cool scene. But what I love is Han Solo is my favorite character. So I love how he's fucking hilarious in episode 4. And I love the scene when they're like, he's like, all right, Luke, go find the princess. And he's like cleaning up and stuff like that. And like, hey, we heard, and then like the Empire's like, hey, we heard like shooting going on. Like, what's going on? It's like, oh, there's like a malfunction. Everything's okay. We're okay. How are you? And they're like, what's that? Like,
classic.
She's like, dude, that's a funny scene today. And I just think like Harrison Ford, Han Solo is like this comedic, cool, charming character in this super dramatic sci-fi adventure with the Force and good and evil and politics and all that stuff. And you got like Han Solo in there. And it's just, I always thought that he brought a lot of charm. And I love that scene. That's one of the scenes. And anytime he's yelling at Chewbacca or Luke, I think is...
Those are great. I wish he wasn't such a grumpy old prick now, though, because you hear all the stories about, Harrison Ford, I love the guy, but, like, and he's a great actor or whatever, but he's just so hung up about, he, like, can't stand his popular movies at certain points. So I heard, that's what kind of took some of the life out of 7 for me, is I knew that he had said multiple times that the only way he would come back to Star Wars is if his character gets killed. So it kind of sucked some of the life out of that scene for me. But I mean, Han Solo is fantastic.
You guys know the scene in 4 where the stormtrooper hits his head on the door?
Yeah,
and they just left that in. That's really good. I love that.
I love it.
I love that they left that in.
Yes.
I want to give a quick shout out. This is a scene that a couple scenes that we haven't discussed yet.
I have another one too. Maybe Dave will bring it up here, but
the beginning of episode 3, the best opening of any Star Wars fight.
Ooh, that's a
or
good
any
one.
Star Wars movie, I guess. So you got the ships coming across. You do the whole crawl with the logo. You're all pumped up. You see the ships crawling across by another bigger ship or whatever, and then they just turn the corner and you see this gigantic fucking battle going on in the planet. And that's when you grip up on your seat, you're watching it in D-Box, and you're like, oh, fucking shit is on. And then that whole scene lasts a good 45 minutes till, you got the Dooku fight in there, you got the Grievous fight in there, you got landing that ship on the planet.
Dude, I love
you don't stop to take a breath until that's over.
I love when they just get through the door of Grievous' ship, slide in, and then pop out with their lightsabers and slash the droids. That's really good.
Yeah. Yeah, the action in 3 is top notch for sure. 3 is like popcorn Star Wars, absolutely. Like I would say 8 is drama, 2 is drama, 1 is action. 3's got the most action.
One is an
Nobody's,
economics class.
A racing simulator.
Yeah,
Three you get to see all the Jedi at their that's like the peak of all Jedi that we get to see in the Star Wars movies.
How have we not
4, 5, 6, they're all coming back.
How have we not brought up Mace Windu versus Palpatine? That's really good in 3 too.
Come on, that one gets me a little weird.
I don't hate it, but I'm just like, it's not like a moment.
I like
Palpatine when he dispatches with 4 Jedi Masters with this shitty little one-arm swings that he's doing. So the fight could have been way better. I mean, the Mace Windu stuff was pretty badass.
I was going to say, mostly when Palpatine just electrocutes him and fucking throws him out the window. That was good.
The unlimited power gif. That's what the real gifts to us.
Absolute power. Yeah, unlimited power. Yeah, I don't know. That scene was tough because, man, what if Anakin didn't turn there?
That's the tipping point. That really is.
That's true.
Yeah. All right. Yeah,
but he really jumped in the deep end of that one.
Dave, you got another one?
All right.
You were talking about?
Yeah,
what about?
All right. Well, Dave.
What
I
about
got a great one, but you go ahead.
Yub Nub?
Yum nub.
End of Return of the Jedi. Yeah, motherfucker. End of Return of the Jedi. They blow up the goddamn second Death Star, and you get to go down to the planet and sing, and Luke is burning Vader's body, and you got to see his face, and that's like the clap your hands, class is over, you passed all your exams, shit is done. That put such a nice bow on the end of that trilogy. All the storylines wrapped up nicely, except for Boba Fett, but
Oh, hey, there's Hayden Christensen.
Yeah.
In the special editions.
They took out Yub Nub too, didn't they?
In the special editions?
I think in the special editions. It's tough to find an original version of those movies.
Impossible.
Those laser dicks, Brandon. I would clutch those to your chest because there's probably not a lot of original versions without, like you said, Hayden Christensen getting subbed in at the end. Take away my fucking Yub Nub. That's...
And CG Yoda.
It's a good ending. Yeah. Yeah, you see the ghost and you're like, who the fuck's this old man ghost standing next to Yoda? I don't know who that is.
But, well, hold on a second. If you're going to talk about best end, and I do agree that they did wrap it up very well, but as far as endings to a Star Wars movie, I don't care for Rogue One. I think it's very
I was going to bring this up too.
Yep. Yeah.
But it has probably one of the greatest scenes in Star Wars. You can't have this. You can't appreciate the scene if you don't like Star Wars in general. If you just showed it to somebody, yeah, it's kind of cool, I guess. But to a Star Wars fan, to see what Vader does. I was
screaming.
Really
I was screaming my pants.
I always wanted to see a scene where somebody ignites a lightsaber in the dark, and I got it. I was just and it was I didn't like the movie. I just didn't like it. I didn't like the characters. I didn't like the plot. I didn't like a lot of Rogue One. I just thought it was
unnecessary.
A lot of people. I don't know. It's just the acting wasn't good. I didn't care for the main character at all. And I didn't like Segura. I didn't like every time you met somebody just died. She gets to Segura, he dies. She gets to her father, he dies. As soon as you meet these characters, they just die. It's just boom, 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 whatever. But I'm not talking about that. But then I'm thinking all right, this fucking movie's over with, whatever. The space scenes are actually pretty good in that movie, but it's over. And all of a sudden, the door jams. The guy all right, we got it. We downloaded it. All right, cool. This movie's going to wrap up. Whatever. And then they get to the door and it's and he's just here woo, in the background, and they're commotion, and then the camera turns around and it's dark, and you just hear Vader's breathing, and then you don't even have time to oh, that's Vader. All of a sudden red lightsaber goes on, and then the music kicks in, and it becomes a horror movie in Star Wars. A horror movie in Star Wars. Instantly, the rebels are screaming, just screaming, and the best part is that when you watch Darth Maul and then you watch Vader versus Kenobi in 4, it's just okay, how is this? How are you gonna what? Why is Vader so stiff in 4, 5, and 6? But with Rogue One, they were so smart to say, yeah, we're going to make him like walk straight, and he's just going to use his hands and twist his wrists around, and it'll look like Vader from 4 and whatever, but he's just, I don't know. It was fucking like butter.
Yeah,
just walking through. It was so
I got chills.
good. I didn't breathe in that scene.
Yeah, that was like this. I was talking about this before, but like, I don't know. Fan
so
service
good.
sometimes can be bad, but this was an example of like perfect
We wanna
Star
see
Wars
certain
fan
things.
service. Like,
I want to,
and it
I
worked
wanna
for
see
me
a
so well.
Vader. Yes, and I love how they transitioned to 4. I thought that was really good. I love 4. 4 is my favorite Star Wars movie. So when it leads perfectly into 4,
Except for CG Leia,
It's-
that was. Ugh.
I know the CG characters in that were not a smart move. I don't know why they did that. Just show me the back of her head and she could just turn and I just know it's her. I don't need to see her fucking CG face from a certain year and then look at it in like 20 years and be like, yep, that was done in that year. But that scene, and then obviously, spoilers, Mandalorian Season 2, when Luke shows up and does the same thing. It's just like,
Very
with the
good.
guitar, it's just like the build-up. It's just like, who is this? Who's getting out of that? Who's showing up in the fucking
Dude, I knew
X-Wing?
Yeah, I knew
I thought
it
it was
was Luke.
Ahsoka or
I knew it
whatever.
was Luke.
But
I was like,
the
who?
hand,
There's
and
only
the green
one
lightsaber.
Yeah. There's only
And that
one
scene
person
was
that
like-
has an X-wing, and it was Luke. And I was like, okay, yep, that's Luke.
And then like somebody showed on like TikTok or YouTube like when Anakin went to show up to take out all the Padawans in Episode 3, it was the same shot but with a red lightsaber, and it was Luke doing the reverse with the green saber to save instead of to kill. It's just like the polar opposites of what he is to his father. It's like Filoni and what's his face? I'm trying to blank. The man. The Favreau. God damn, that's how you do Star Wars fan service right there.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit. Just so good. I love those scenes. Star Wars is full of little tributes and nods and winks, and some of them are on the nose and some of them are subtle. Like in Solo, there's a real, like not many people caught this, but I caught it. If you watch 5, I think it's 5, when Han's piloting the ship, Leia will be behind him, and then like when the ship moves, she puts her hand on his shoulder, and then like it kind of helps Han kind of focus on doing the job. They do that with Korra with Han in Solo. It's a subtle scene, but she's right behind him, and then he's about to take off, and then she puts his. It's like when they're doing the trench run. She puts his hand right on the shoulder. Same, it's identical. And surprise, the fucking guy who wrote 5 wrote Solo. Solo was written by the guy who did 5 and his son. So I don't know. When I knew that, I was looking for certain things like little nods and winks to his previous work. So you learn a lot when you rewatch a lot of the Star Wars movies, especially the newer ones, because they have to kind of, I don't know, they're fans too. These guys have been working. This is like their life's work. So there's a lot of subtleties if you look for it. But I wanted to throw something like that out.
Solo was fantastic. Let's all agree on that. Solo's a good movie. Me, I think a lot of people don't like Solo, not because of the story or anything. It's just that, well, not Last Jedi, but it's the actor that played Solo. I thought he was believable. I thought he was a good Han Solo, but I thought that people, and also let's admit that the way Han Solo got his name was really fucking stupid. It is really dumb, but
You're alone? How about a Latin word? Solo. It makes no sense.
I gotta rewatch that because I don't know. The first time I watched it, I was not into it. I was just bored the whole time.
it's like a heist movie, basically.
Yeah, I think I just gotta rewatch it because
At first, I was
wasn't paying
a little iffy about Khaleesi being in there. I thought she was gonna, like, just seeing somebody too familiar in another setting. Like I was glad when they made 7, 8, 9 that they grabbed people that I didn't know to play, important roles in the movie, so I don't immediately, think of them in something else. But and even Woody Harrelson in Solo, like it was, he was good in there too.
So you didn't like
Woody
1, 2,
Harrelson's
and 3
great in
because
everything.
Liam Neeson and who plays Obi-Wan Kenobi? I'm drawing a blank.
Ewan McGregor,
Ewan
he's
McGregor.
fantastic. He's a
Mace
gem.
Windu.
He is Obi-Wan.
Yeah, guy who played Count Dooku, Christopher
Christopher Lee.
Lee. These are all big ass fucking names. So I mean, just like 1, 2, and 3 had big ass names.
Yeah, Samuel L. Jackson was a little. That throws me
Samuel
off when I see him.
And he's got a purple lightsaber because he's Sam. He gets asked for that stuff because it's a big name. Like, I don't care. I don't know. Like, I do get that. Like, it sucks when you see like an obvious person like Woody Harrelson in Solo. Woody Harrelson's in everything. Apparently, he's going to be in Venom or whatever.
He's Carnage.
Venom 2.
He's Carnage. Yeah.
He's in a lot of things, dude. He's in a lot of franchises. He's one of, so is Sam Jackson. It is what it is, but yeah, I don't know. But I thought Solo was good. Didn't like Rogue One, and I do have to do a shout out to one of my favorite scenes is the binary sunset from 4. It's just this. It's a shot with the 2 setting suns. Luke making a big decision to leave Tatooine. And the song is so beautiful, dude. It is.
Yep.
It is.
It's good.
Yeah, I gotta give it to it. And I don't know, I think that's all my favorite scenes. So like a lot of little ones, just kind of quotes and
Yeah. I think it's funny we didn't touch on the biggest scene in Star Wars history with the Luke, I am your father reveal.
I love Mark Hamill. I love him. I love the actor. I love the person he is today. But young Luke, his acting, young Mark Hamill,
We got to at least touch on it for how big how big of a moment it is. I mean, it's not my favorite moment just because it's so like cliche and played out and, it's so permeated by pop culture, but I still watch it today and think that it's a fucking great moment.
I mean, that is the big twist, though. You start with 4, 5, 6. You don't know if you don't know that Vader is his dad. Like that's a pretty big cat coming out of the bag right there. So I don't know. I think just the fact that we are a little too close and a little too familiar with it, that maybe it doesn't resonate as much with us as it seems like well, fucking yeah, duh, he's his dad. So, but I mean, if you come into it blind and you're, don't have the depth of knowledge of, the whole arc of the story. Like I tried watching it with the 4-year-old the other day and, I'm like, just sit down and watch it. Just pay attention for like 2 minutes and just fucking see this. So I, trying to see if there's any, and he, right over his head. So there's a certain point.
I've tried showing my son. He's almost 2, so he obviously doesn't really care that much. But he likes the opening credit crawl the most, and he liked BB-8 when I showed him Force Awakens. But
yes,
he's not really into it that much.
Star Wars has fantastic characters for kids. They're called Porgs. They're called Ewoks. They're called anything cute and little, and Chewbacca and Yoda. Like those characters always go well with kids. At least my kids, they adore Yoda. Dude, Mandalorian season 1, I loved the first episode. I was like, yeah, this is sweet. And then at the end, when they expose like what's in like what the bounty was, I was like instantly like, oh my god, this is like one of the most genius things to happen for me in Star Wars is to introduce a baby Yoda character, like his little hand, like when the Mandalorian like kind of held his hand out, like his finger, that shot, and then the baby Yoda hand just comes up. I was just like, oh my god, Baby Yoda.
They knew knew exactly what they were doing with Baby Yoda. Without Baby Yoda, that show is not as successful.
They did it fucking smart too, where they didn't make any toys of it when Mandalorian first coming out. They didn't, no press releases on anything.
The moment.
Yeah, You wait
Big
till after.
reveal.
You're gonna sell plenty of plushes after.
Yeah. Yeah, it was well done. Like, people pick on Disney, like, whatever. Also, Disney also gave us some of the coolest shit we've ever seen. The Vader hallway scene, fucking, whatever, like Baby Yoda. Like, get over it. Like, oh, man. Yeah, Mandalorian's been a blast. I thought season 1 was great. I thought season 2 is better than it deserved to be. I thought when Ahsoka was doing her fucking ninja, just love the lightsabers in the dark. Just
Ahsoka was badass. Yeah.
So cool. So cool.
I love that they brought back Boba Fett too. I'm excited for the book of Boba Fett.
I loved how they did it.
The book of Boba Fett.
I loved everything about it. It's in the right hands. I think we saw them fumble with the movies. I think they learned it's harder than they thought because Disney's good at doing Pixar and whatever. Disney knows what they're doing. But they got a franchise that already had a huge fan base, so they're learning on the hard way.
Mm-hmm. Brandon, you brought this up like many times before, but I just want them to branch out into the Star Wars universe like they're doing with the TV shows. Like, we don't need everything. We don't need everything to reference back to this, what happened in the Skywalker saga. Like, go.
Well, they tried with 8. They tried with
somewhere
8.
else.
They straight up said it's not the same family. It's like just because you're like a Skywalker doesn't mean like that's what they were trying to do with that little kid. It's just like you can be. Anybody has a potential to be something and do something with the Force. You don't have to be a Skywalker or a Kenobi or a Palpatine. That was the promise of 8 with the little broom kid. That was the promise that 9 didn't deliver on, I think. But yes, like Mandalorian gives me hope. The Kenobi show.
I'm excited for Kenobi, obviously, like I said, because he's my favorite character. But it's still in that same time period that all of this other stuff has already happened in the Star Wars universe. I want them to either go way in the future or way in the past. They're doing the High Republic stuff now with the books or stuff like that. But make that into a TV show, and just don't. I don't know. It just annoys me that every Star Wars thing has to connect back to.
You're getting sick of the nostalgia note every time they want to ding that little bell. They want you to think of Luke.
Disney killed all the expanded universe stuff, which was awesome because it expanded the Star Wars universe.
They're bringing back Thrawn though. Thrawn is going to be real good.
And it's really weird because KOTOR is technically not canon anymore, but they might. There's rumors of another game coming, so like, are they gonna make that canon again? Like, I don't know. It's very messy with what's canon and what's not.
They'll pick and choose what they want.
They might Final Fantasy VII remake KOTOR.
Right.
That's what I'm hearing now, which is amazing if they do because Final Fantasy remake is sick. So I would be all for that. Any favorite moments from the video games, real quick? I know we've been talking about the movies and TV shows, but like,
I'll spoil.
Fallen Order was fantastic.
Do we want to spoil the end of Fallen Order because that's fucking awesome? The Vader reveal.
Spoiler warning. Don't even talk about the ending of Fallen Order, but yes,
dude. When Vader shows up at the end of Fallen Order, dude, I fucking shit my pants because it's going. Dude, like you said, it goes back to Rogue One, like the whole horror movie thing, because you can just tell how much more powerful he is than.
He kills the Inquisitor.
Yeah, like with no hesitation. Like he is like leagues way more powerful. What's the fucking main character's name in Fallen Order?
Cal,
yeah. So yeah, Cal knows it. Like, I mean, when you're playing as Cal, you feel powerful. You're improving, getting all the shit. But then when Vader shows up, it's like, okay, we just gotta fucking get out of here. We gotta run as far and as fast away as we can.
He's like making a platform to walk on. I was like, oh fuck, he is a horror character when he shows up.
Yeah, I'm so glad that they in Fallen Order they didn't make Vader like an actual boss fight. Because Cal can't even stand toe-to-toe with Vader, not even close. So they had to make him run away.
Just run away, because that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, that was good. Yep. No shout-outs to the Battlefront 2.
Battlefront 2 is good. Well, The first half
Great
of
game,
the
but
campaign
story
is good. The first half of the campaign is good before they started trying to shoehorn in like Luke and Han Solo and forcing you to play. Did you guys play through the whole campaign of Battlefront 2?
Not the second half.
You want to be Luke? Yeah, I want to be Luke. All right, you want to kill like frog like aliens on a
Right.
planet?
What the
Like,
fuck
no,
was that?
no. I want to slaughter stormtroopers. That's all I want to kill in Star Wars.
Dude.
I don't want to kill aliens. I want to kill stormtroopers.
The first half of that campaign was good, like the original story that they created for the first half of that campaign. But then they just decided to throw in like, oh, you're gonna play as Luke, you're gonna play as Han Solo, you're gonna play as Kylo Ren. Like, okay, I don't care.
Yeah, that's fan servicey bullshit. Yeah, that whole game was a whatever. I don't know. It's
The multiplayer's
the
fun.
multiplayer is like fun. Yeah, it's fun now. It's absolutely fun now, but it's been a roller coaster for because Battlefront was like, yeah, this is gorgeous, this is cool, like it looks like the sets, but no campaign. What? So 2 comes out. It's like, we have a campaign. It's goodish. It's playable, but the multiplayer definitely grew.
Did you guys play
the levels?
Did you guys play Jedi Outcast 2? That's a good one.
Back in the day, yeah.
Yeah, I played that. They re-released it on Switch a year or 2 ago, and I played through all of that for the first time. And honestly, it holds up. Like, I mean, you could tell. I mean, it's antiquated. Like the first-person shooter controls are kind of terrible, but like the level design of that game and like I don't know the lightsaber combat. Because like,
Wait, which one are you talking about?
so you switch.
Which one's Outcast?
Outcast, you switch between. You start out at first like in a first person perspective. It's half like first person shooter, and then when you get a lightsaber, it turns into like a third person action game. But I don't know. I remember really enjoying the story in that, and the lightsaber combat was really fun. But the first person shooter controls were not great. I mean, that game came out in like 2000, early 2000s. But that was a good one.
It was a game that does need a little love, and I guess it's a little older. It definitely deserves a remake, but Jedi Power Battles for the PlayStation 2.
Ooh, I remember
Or
playing.
might even be an original PlayStation, but that just like over the head, beat 'em up, run around and chop shit up with your lightsaber with your buddies. I think it was up to 4 players, but that
I think
was
I
a really good
remember
game back in
playing
the day.
a demo of that at GameStop a long time ago, and I remember liking that a lot. But yeah, that was a good one. Jedi Starfighter on PS2. Did you guys play that one?
Oh, I did. I rented it and I remember playing it for a weekend. It was sweet.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
I just dumped that into Game Pass, but not the best flying game. Rogue Squadron for the Nintendo 64 was a very good one. That one, I think you needed the memory expansion for the Nintendo 64 to actually harness that one. But, standard X-Wing, A-Wing bombing missions, go to Hoth, fly around some AT-ATs, all the standard stuff. But that one was a great game back in the day, too.
Yeah, there's been good games in and out. KOTOR, the pod racing game. Actually, it was actually pretty fun.
I bought the remake
back in the day.
I haven't played it yet though.
Yeah, they remade it for a reason. It's just a fun game. I love the pod race from episode 1. Episode 1, I enjoy, even though I hate Jar Jar Binks, and the political stuff is lame. Well, if we're going to talk about games, I want to go into I want to go into Metacritic Mayhem because I think we've been talking for a while. But if you guys don't mind, can you, do, at the best of your ability, rate in order your favorite Star Wars movie to your worst? Maybe start with.
Are we just
lowest
doing
and work our way to
mainline,
the
or
best.
are we including like Solo,
No.
Rogue One, too?
I want Solo and Rogue One in there as well because they are a very important. Even though they don't do anything to the story, I think they're big budget enough that they are part of it. Not like the Ewok movies, so they're like not really connected. These are canon. Yes. So yeah, Eric, why don't you go first? What's the lowest one, and then work your way to the top.
I used to have a list for this, but I can't find it. But okay, so you want me to work from lowest to highest?
Yeah, because there's going to be 11 movies total, right?
All right.
Because you're doing the 9 and then the 2 additional. Yep.
Let's try to do this off the top of my head. So I guess I would say at the bottom, Rogue One. I know a lot of people really like that movie. But man, actually, you know what? No, I'm gonna switch it. The Vader scene in that movie redeems it over Solo because I couldn't get on with Solo.
Really? Okay, go ahead. All right.
I'll say Solo.
Solo Rogue One.
Rogue One.
Episode 2.
Episode 2. Yep. Yes. Episode. Well, no. Episode 9. Then episode 2.
Oh my God! You put 2 over 9?
Hell yeah, definitely 2
Okay.
over
All
9.
right. Okay.
Okay, so we're at 9, 2, 1. Ooh, now this is where it gets tough because I love all of the remaining movies, but it's tough to rank them. I guess I would put Last Jedi here.
8.
Yep.
Okay.
8, and then
You got 4, 5, 6, and 7,
and then
and 3. Which 3 is your number 1?
I'm gonna say 4. You're gonna hate me, Brandon, but I'm gonna say the
That's
original.
okay. No, dude, that's the beauty of Star Wars. Everybody's Star Wars means different to them. That's the beauty of it.
All right, so 4, 5, 6, 7, 3. Say that.
So your top 3 are 6.
No.
Then
Switch.
7. Then 3.
Nope. Switch. Damn. Switch. So 6 is my
You
number.
mean 5?
Yeah.
No?
So 5 is number 4, right? 7, 6, 3. Yeah.
This is riveting
5,
to hear.
7, 6,
Yes.
3.
I am just
I know it's-
That's
raptured in my
interesting, Dave. I
ears.
want to hear.
It's controversial,
Dave,
but
Dave,
I
it
like
is.
that's my ranking.
No. This is the thing because you know what? There's somebody out there who 9 is their favorite, and they could be my age, they could be your age. There's no fucking rules to Star Wars,
right.
and that's the thing that people got to get over.
Let me run
Star
down
Wars
it.
does not belong
Just
to you.
a
So-
full one, just so we have it all. So, Solo, Rogue One, 9, 2, 8. What was after 8? 1 or no? Where the fuck was I? Damn,
Was it 4?
This is hard to remember. Oh, 4. Yep. 4, 5, 7, 6, 3. Yep, that's it.
Okay, you might have missed one of them, but yes, I get. All right, Dave, what do you got?
Starting at the bottom is Rise of the Skywalker. Total pile of doggy doo-doo. Step up from that would be Rogue One. It was kind of cool, but meh.
I am one with the false, and the false is with me.
No, that was the worst scene. That is just lame. That is just lame. And after that would go, I guess, 1 and 2. Those are in some sort of order after that. 2, then 1, I guess.
Gotta be.
That kind of wraps up. That wraps up. There's a drop off for those movies. Those are the third tier, I guess. My middle tier would be Last Jedi, and then Solo.
Damn.
After that, and then step up from those two, and I kind of lumped them together. Would be Force Awakens and then A New Hope because they're kind of the same movie, but those two are pretty close. And then my final 3 would be, let's see, Return of the Jedi at number 3, 6, 3, and then 5.
Dave, I'm not surprised actually by your list at all.
Wait, so 3's you said in 3's your number 1, Dave?
No, Empire. Empire is the best.
Oh, Empire. Okay.
If you're from my generation, everybody picks 6. I pick 4. So, spoiler, my number 1 is going to be episode 4. But
We already
I'm going
knew
to go
that.
already. Here's mine. All right. So, all right. The least impressive one to me is 2. Rogue One 9. Then I'm going to go 1, 3, Solo.
Wow.
6, 7, 8, 6, 4. I'm sorry, 5, 4.
5, 4, yeah.
5, 4.
Okay.
I don't know. I just have a strong connection with 4.
I think it's funny. My top 3 is one from each trilogy. It's 7, 6, 3. Yep.
Yeah, and Dave, you were what?
5, 3, 6.
5, 3, 6.
Revenge of the Sith it's too badass to leave out of the top 3. There's just so much good shit in that fucking movie.
Though I can't stand any of the.
Yeah, Annie, you're breaking
great,
my
though.
heart. Yeah, I know it's a little. To
be
rough,
honest,
but
Star Wars I don't think is known for its stellar acting.
except for Ewan McGregor, he's a treasure.
Okay, so Metacritic Mayhem for this episode, I'm going to do it. Eric did it last time. I won. But because we're doing a Star Wars theme, I didn't do the TV shows. One, Mandalorian Metacritic score isn't up. I couldn't find it. I don't know. It was weird. So we're only going to do the movies and the video games. And I think that's enough. It's been a long episode.
Sure.
So let's get right into it. So for the movies, I can't remember the points, but I remember that you get more if you can actually get the number that was rated on Metacritic.
So yeah, first is guessing which is more higher rated, and then whoever guesses that right is 1 point, and then 1 point for whoever gets the closest, and then 5 points if you get it exactly right.
Okay. So Dave versus Eric.
Dun dun dun.
The two movies.
Let's do it.
You guys ready? The two movies. I want to know. You guys got to tell me. It is Rogue One versus Solo.
Ooh, this is a good one. Which one's higher rated?
Oh, I think this one's pretty easy.
All right, yeah. I'll just start. I'll say Solo, since it just seemed more critically well received.
It's a Ron Howard movie.
So yeah, I'll go with Solo.
Really?
He's got a good touch, but yeah, Dave. Okay,
no.
so Eric says Rogue One. I'm sorry, it says Solo. What do you say?
I
Dave?
think Rogue One was much better received critically.
You think so?
And,
Really?
And theatrically. I'd absolutely go Rogue One on this one because everyone was harping on Solo, saying the acting and I apologize, but I can't remember who had played Solo, but it's just it's a tough one to pull. Rogue One's an original story, so there's nothing to really lean on. And then you had that fucking Darth Vader at the end, so it's got to absolutely be Rogue One.
Yeah, it ends on such a high. Dave is right.
Damn it.
Rogue One
Fuck.
It has the higher score versus Solo.
Okay.
So the second part of that is to guess the actual number for Rogue One. What was the actual Metacritic score?
This is tough. For Rogue One, I'm gonna say.
Yeah, and I'll give you guys a hint. It ain't anything special.
Yeah,
And like don't
I'm
think.
thinking-
I wouldn't think so.
Well,
No.
I know you don't.
I'm thinking it's gonna be in the 70s.
Episode 8 got a really high number.
So I'm gonna say 76 is popping into my head.
76 for Eric for Rogue One. David?
Oh man, Solo had to have been shitty if Eric is right there. So I think Rogue One was positively received. Definitely not in the 90s. That's just insanity. Probably some of the original movies would be in the 90s, but this feels like an 80s.
Yeah, I think I went too low.
somewhere.
But
I'm gonna say like 86.
What was your number, Eric?
76.
Yeah, Dave is way off. It's 65.
65.
Yes,
Whoa!
yes. All right, 1-1, baby.
That bad, huh? I thought everybody loved Rogue One. except for us.
Solo is the 62, and I thought that was fantastic because they're the stories, the only two that they
62.
did, and yeah, so they're both fairly similar. I would have given Solo higher than Rogue One just because of many reasons, but okay, yeah. So okay, tie game.
So it's one apiece.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I'm ready for a tiebreaker in case this happens, but Star Wars video games, and by God, there are more than I realized, and I tried to make sure that these are games that we all played. My original idea, it's just too obvious, so I won't go for it, but I'm going to go with these two here. These are two games that I think video game Star Wars fans plus Star Wars video game fans both are going to agree that these are games that you probably should play. If you're a Star Wars fan, you should probably at least play these games. So the two games are going to be Fallen Order on the PS4. That's the score I'm looking at. They were pretty much identical, but I went with the PS4. Fallen Order and Republic Commando on OG Xbox. So that's 2005 versus like a 2018 game or something like that. But yeah, which one had the better score? Fallen Order,
Dave, you go first.
or Republic Commando?
I was gonna say, yep. Remember Republic Commando was pretty well received back in the day, I did think, but Fallen Order was, I mean, it kind of surprised a lot of people when it came out. That it was Respawn that did it, and you know they're top notch, they're AAA, so I'm gonna go with Fallen Order on this one.
Fallen Order, okay.
Fallen Order.
Yeah. Okay, yep. Eric, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm also gonna go Fallen Order. I've never played Republic Commando. I've heard it's good, but I don't really know much about it. I know that I loved Fallen Order, but so yeah, I'm going with Fallen Order.
Fallen Order does have. You guys are both right. It is.
Ooh,
that is right. Yes.
2-2.
Yes. Okay. So now let's figure out what was the actual number that you would get on the critical score on Metacritic for Fallen Order.
Davey.
I'll go first. My Rogue One guess kind of threw me off. Now I'm thinking all sorts of crazy numbers now, but Fallen Order I think is a positive game overall, and it didn't really have a lot of DLC or anything that kept it living on. So I'm thinking a lot of the original reviews kind of.
There was a good update with the New Game Plus and whatnot, but not anything crazy.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna say the same thing. I'm gonna say an 86 for Fallen Order because it feels like an 80s game, somewhere in that upper echelon.
So I don't know why this number popped into my head as soon as I thought about it, but I'm gonna go with 90, just a solid 90 right on the dot.
Whew. You know what? I'm shocked actually that the number is this low. It is only a 79.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I know. It's so hard to play a good Star Wars video game, and they made it
Dude,
canon. And the acting's good.
surprised.
The gameplay is phenomenal. Respawn is such a great developer. It deserves more of a. It really is a good game.
You know what?
I got bored with the Darth Maul planet, but
you know why that might be? I mean, I don't really know how Metacritic works, but initially when it was reviewed, obviously initially when it came out, there was tons of bugs and all this stuff. So it kind of got raked through the coals a bit for the technical issues that it had when it first came out. So I don't know if they update Metacritic scores or if it's just solid based on the initial critical reviews. But I'm assuming that's why it's lower. But wow, I'm surprised. I love that game. Dave won. Yep.
Okay, so Dave won that then.
Yep.
Okay, all right.
What was the tiebreaker? I want to know.
So real quick, I wanted to. It was so obvious, but when I first did this, I was like, all right, Battlefront 2 2005 versus Battlefront 2 2017. Which one had a better score?
I would
say that again.
Battlefront. So the Battlefront series has been remade, right? So they said they did 1 and 2.
I would say originally for sure.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
OG Battlefront 2 was in 2005, and the remake or whatever, the new series Battlefront 2 was in 2017.
I mean,
who had a higher score?
When Battlefront 2 first came out, everyone fucking hated it. So, and everyone loved Battlefront, the original Battlefront 2. Like that's one of the best Star Wars games out there.
Right.
I completely agree with that.
Everybody would, yeah. So you have a 78 for Battlefront 2 in 2005, and you have a 68 for 2017.
I'm still surprised it's
do you guys
that
want to
low.
take a shot? KOTOR, by far, the first KOTOR. I think KOTOR 2 was an 89, but KOTOR 1 on the Xbox. Do you want to take a guess at what the Metacritic score was?
Ooh, on Xbox.
It's got to be like it's got to be 93. It's got to be in the 90s.
I was saying 92 probably.
It's in the 90s, yes. 94.
Ooh, 94.
Woo.
Dude, in
It's
Star
hot.
Wars video games, nothing is close to that. That's it.
Yep.
94.
They
KOTOR's
won-
the best. Yep.
That one came with a lot of updates on the Xbox too, where they upscale a lot of the stuff, and that game looks surprisingly good for like an original Xbox game with all of the niceties of the new system.
But Dave, do you want to hear something that's really going to make you kind of like? I think you're going to do an impulse buy, but I think it's got a 96 on on mobile phones. The mobile version,
Dude, on iPad it would be is really good. The iPad version of that game is really good.
the best Star Wars video game rated of all time, and it's
That's crazy.
I don't know. I just was blown away by that. But yeah, so that's KOTOR. Yeah, and then the TV shows. I think we all know that it would be Mandalorian.
Yep.
It's just like season 1 versus season 2, but Metacritic for some reason didn't have it, and none of us really watch Rebels or
Clone Wars, yeah.
so I didn't want to do that. It's a whole that I want to watch. In Star Wars, I don't know. I just haven't gotten around to it. But yeah, so that was Star Wars episode 2 for us. Hopefully the audio is better this time around. We're still going to be kind of figuring this shit out, but
Let me plug our shit really quick. So we have a Twitter account set up now. And if you want to follow us, that's at Nomads of Fantasy. And I also set up an email for us, and that's nomadsoffantasy@gmail.com. If you want to send in any questions, comments, we'd read them on the air if we get anything. So feel free to send them in.
That one lucky day.
yeah, well, this is it's all new to us, so these first few episodes are going to be rough. I'm going to get something for my own sound to I'm going to get one of those foam walls that goes around so I don't have any echo, and I'm trying not to get too close to the microphone. I hope the content's good. I hope people that do come across this listen to it and just enjoy our perspectives. I think we're trying to be intelligent, trying to be respectful, trying to be optimistic, but, cynical. Yeah, a little bit. We have our opinions. Clearly, we don't like episode 9, and Rogue One is not any better. But that Vader's it is what it is. And I think that's cool that we all can agree on that. I'm not as angry as a lot of people with Star Wars. I have kids, right? Eric, isn't it beautiful to introduce Star Wars to your kids, though?
Dude, yeah. I don't really give him a choice. I made his room Star Wars. His whole room is Star Wars themed. So
Dave named his kid Luke.
yep,
Dude,
Dave named
come
his
on.
kid Luke.
Oh, what an accident, huh? How did that happen?
Oh,
Slip one
man,
past
I
the
love
goalie
it.
there.
Yeah. So, any last words on Star Wars? As far as where it could go, how you're feeling, what would you like to see next? Or
I'm just, I'm excited for the Boba Fett show, more Mandalorian.
the Book of Fett.
Yep. Obi-Wan show. I'm definitely pumped for.
Yes,
But yeah.
dude, I'm gonna cry.
Like,
They got a Rogue Squadron movie coming out in a year or two.
yeah, like I was saying, I
Should be upcoming.
hope they just keep branching out into different corners of the Star Wars universe, and I think the TV show format really works for them, as opposed to the movies.
It's a lot more to be optimistic about, because for the longest time we were kind of just eating crumbs from George Lucas's table. And kind of once it got tossed over to Disney, they're just taking the shotgun blast approach of just like buckshotting out. Well, they're just like pumping it out. Like, I don't even know how many shows they have in development now. It's just kind of insane where you have like
Yeah, but I'm okay
8
with that.
different Star Wars things coming out. So, I mean, it's, no, I'm certainly not complaining.
Yep.
They're not all going to be gems, and they're not all going to be great. So, hopefully we get more good than we do get bad. But it certainly is, there certainly is a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's Jon Favreau's gorgeous gleaming face smiling back down upon us.
Well, Dave, you probably like Favreau because of what his direction in the studio did, where they did that Unreal Engine 5 or whatever kind of like live.
He's doing some crazy
you like
shit.
that Star Wars always pushes technology, and Favreau's kind of taking that ideology, right, to make Mandalorian. It's like, yes, we push the industry. Here's what we can do with the industry.
It's the merging of the digital games and a lot of that. So I don't know. Maybe I have the Mando's shiny armor to thank for it. I don't know, but it certainly looks really good. Give them that.
Yep, I'm excited. I'm excited for the future of Star Wars. But yeah, I think we can all agree.
Certainly ain't going anywhere.
Nope, that's for sure.
All right, any last words? Because otherwise, I think we're good here, boys. What do you guys want to say?
Dave says to play more games and watch more Star Wars.
Yep, same with Eric. I double that sentiment.
All right, I guess I'll say, may the Force be with